Bang! 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 Ag! Heart-wrenching roars echoed throughout the void. In the void, nothing could be seen except for a man wrapped in dark red shackles made of ice silk, with his palms slowly rising to probe into a mass in front of him, resembling gray lava. I can't. Xiao realized that the core of the undying fire was too sly, constantly flickering. With each flicker, immense pain surged through him, prompting him to curse involuntarily. No, I can't drag this out any longer. If the energy of the undying leaf runs out, this time, I might fail. Looking at the rapidly depleting dark red energy of the undying leaf in his palm, Xiao said seriously. He knew that without the protection of the undying leaf, even approaching the undying fire's lava would be extremely difficult, let alone devouring it. This time, come out. In an instant, the spiritual power from countless souls inside Xiao spirit palace surged like an ocean. Even his flame mantra activated at high speed, unleashing immense power that enveloped Xiao, pushing his aura to its peak. Crack! A sound rang out, and the gray light spot inside the gray lava was shaken by Xiao overwhelming power. In that brief moment of disorientation, it was caught by Xiao, and the space returned to calm. Who? Grabbing the gray light spot, Xiao pulled his hand out of the gray lava with a thunderous force. The already depleted undying leaf erupted with cold energy, completely enveloping the undying fire's core light spot. Even so, Xiao arm stiffened. If the undying fire's lava kept corroding him for much longer, the outcome would likely. The core light spot of the undying fire was tiny, no bigger than a firefly. But the power contained within this tiny spot was enough to destroy the world. The contrast was truly chilling. Crackle! As Xiao pulled his hand out, the dark red undying leaf had consumed most of its energy. A strong burnt smell wafted from Xiao palm, extremely pungent. However, despite the undying fire's core light spot struggling, it was still tightly bound by Xiao. This sacred flame is too strong. Looking at the gray light spot wrapped in the dark red undying leaf in his palm, and seeing the blackened state of his palm, Xiao couldn't help but feel his hair stand on end. Even with the protection of the sacred flame and undying leaf, capturing the undying fire's core was such a hassle. If he had no protection at all, even someone as powerful as Xiao would easily perish here. Buzz! Buzz! At the same time, a diamond-shaped crystal with mysterious gray patterns suddenly ripped through the void and appeared before Xiao. Finally, it's done. Looking at this scene, Xiao let out a breath of relief and couldn't help but smile. It was finally a success. At first, the Imperial Flame Ring suppressed the undying fire, preventing it from attacking Xiao. However, at that time, the sacred flame crystal hadn't fallen off, meaning the undying fire hadn't fully recognized Xiao. Now, after entering the undying fire lava and obtaining the true core, Xiao had gained the undying fire's full recognition, and the sacred flame crystal followed suit. Undying fire. Xiao gaze became dull as he looked at the gray light spot and the gray sacred flame crystal in front of him, unable to believe what he was seeing. The power of the undying fire might be enough to rival all the flames within him combined. Once he devoured the undying fire, his strength would experience a huge boost, and even his flame mantra and flame swallowing technique would increase in power. For Xiao, this was the perfect opportunity. Time is of the essence, let's do this. The time to devour the undying fire won't be short. I hope I can make it in time for the second domain war, and also, lovesickness flame. As he spoke the last words, Xiao gently touched his chest as if comforting something. Sacred flame crystal. Xiao sneered and immediately stored the other two sacred flame crystals into his Doqi Si. His gaze remained fixed on the gray, sacred flame crystal. Gray patterns began to emerge on the sacred flame crystal, and beneath these patterns was a streak of gray liquid. The fluctuation in the liquid was the key to absorbing the undying fire's core. Buzz! Buzz! The gray sacred flame crystal sensed Xiao actions and immediately emitted waves of response. Come on! Without hesitation, Xiao unleashed all his power, his gaze growing intense. The ice mystic pill, the sacred flame crystal, and the undying fire's core light spot all hovered before him. Boom! Moments later, Xiao Yan's surging soul power transformed into a vast river, immediately devouring the gray sacred flame crystal. Buzz! Buzz! As soon as the soul power made contact with the gray sacred flame crystal, the sound of Buddhist chants shook Xiao Yan's limbs, making him feel dizzy. This thing is certainly not easy to handle. But netherworld heavenly wrath. After taking a deep breath, Xiao Yan's pupils constricted sharply. Two incredibly powerful soul attacks roared directly toward the sacred flame crystal wrapped in the soul river. The scene was nothing short of terrifying. Boom, boom, boom. Waves of soul ripples spread like a tidal wave. At that moment, the gray sacred flame crystal trembled slightly. Thin streams of gray liquid began to flow out from its interior and gathered into Xiao Yan's soul river. Success. Stare of the dual flames. Watching as the gray sacred flame crystal unleashed its ultimate power, Xiao Yan smiled. Whoosh! In an instant, two colored pupils, filled with earthy yellow and cyan hues, appeared around Xiao Yan, carrying intense destructive power. These eyes injected their strength into the soul river. Merge into me. At this moment, Xiao Yan's soul power, the sacred flame crystal liquid, and his soul flame eyes all entered the river. The once transparent soul river became turbulent, as if it might explode at any moment. Whoosh! A light flickered, and the essence of undying fire was also thrown into the soul river. In the blink of an eye, countless visible cracks appeared within the soul river, as though it might shatter at any second. If this level of power exploded, the undying sacred tome might be reduced to nothing. Ice mystic pill. With a cold snort, Xiao Yan struggled to swallow the pill. A wave of mysterious, gentle power spread through his body, and the threat of undying fire was suddenly greatly reduced. Victory or failure, it all depends on this. As the words left his mouth, with the defenses formed by the ice mystic pill, Xiao Yan inhaled sharply and instantly swallowed the soul river. Crack! Ah! Roar! Boom! As the soul river was swallowed, special forces began flowing through Xiao Yan's body. His veins bulged, his face turned ashen, blood oozed from his mouth, and his breath grew weak, as if he might fall at any moment. However, after a brief moment, Xiao Yan's aura began to grow strong again, transitioning between strength and weakness. Inside the undying fire giant egg, there was a deathly silence. No one knew if Xiao Yan would succeed, nor how much time he needed. Little one, it all depends on you now. Hope you don't disappoint the sacred flame's trust in you. The upcoming battle for the heavens and earth will rely on you. Outside the giant egg, little Xun'er gently caressed it. Her forehead had returned to its normal state, and the little beast she cradled in her arms emitted waves of joy. At this moment, the devouring of the undying fire slowly proceeded, while many other events were unfolding outside. Meanwhile, in a dark corner of the ferocious soul domain's void, King. In a gloomy corner, thousands of figures stood in a row. They wore military uniforms, exuding a mix of evil and light, which was quite strange. At this moment, a beautiful woman, with an expression of respect, spoke to the woman standing in front of her. The woman wore simple clothing, but the power hidden beneath her graceful form was enough to destroy heaven and earth. The bright patterns within her heart and the peculiar strength within her bright eyes pushed her aura to its peak. The light demon. Have you investigated it? Who took matters into their own hands and went to the undying sacred tome to attempt to seize the sacred flame, even stealing a pure heart for that purpose? The graceful woman spoke in a voice as light and sweet as a longing sigh, but the anger within it was impossible to hide. King, I apologize, they are my subordinates. At that moment, a muscular man stepped forward from the crowd of thousands. Feng Tian Yu? Seeing the man step out, the woman standing beside the light demon couldn't help but express her surprise. The light demon was a true powerhouse of the extraterritorial evil clan. Her demon army, known as the Demon Guards, was feared throughout the realms. Though there were only 1,000 members in the Demon Guards, every one of them was a well-trained warrior. The Demon Guards also had varying levels of power. The Light Demon was the strongest, though it was unknown whether she had touched the boundaries of reincarnation. Below her were the left and right wings, her most trusted subordinates, whose strength reached the level of 8-star Do Xian. After them came the various demon leaders who commanded the Demon Guards. These leaders ranged in power between 7-star Do Xian. Below them were the more common Demon Guards, though even the weakest among them was a Do Xian level expert. Therefore, this small force of only a few thousand was feared by many strong individuals across the 7 realms. King, it is my failure in management. Please, punish me. The demon leader knelt on one knee without hesitation and respectfully bowed. Report, King. We have uncovered the ferocious soul domain's pathways and the location of the Divine Hall. The ferocious soul master's aura is weakening, and it seems he has entered a deep retreat. This is the best time to strike. At the same time, another demon leader appeared, emerging from the void. Let's start the war. This time, the target is the ferocious soul master's 4 great halls. You will pay for everything you've done to him. Her voice just finished speaking, and immediately, the 1,000-strong team split into 10 groups, launching a full-scale assault on the ferocious soul domain. As for the so-called light demon, their hatred for the master of ferocious souls ran so deep it seemed to burn through their very bones. Although the ferocious soul domain was filled with powerful warriors, they too suffered heavy losses in that instant. The true battle only began when the light demon launched their final attack. On the other side, the conflict over the Undying fire gradually subsided. The experts from the 5 great halls were greatly displeased, but at the last moment, under the terrifying power of Xiao, they were forced to withdraw. After their return, they spread the news that Xiao was human and possessed 3 sacred flames. As a result, Xiao became the most famous figure on the ferocious soul domain's wanted list. Countless strong individuals attempted to track him down and eliminate him, hoping to seize the sacred flames for themselves. However, Xiao situation was rather strange. Despite their considerable efforts, they could not locate him. Even the 10,000 Fires sect, under Xiao command, was nearly caught up in the chaos. Fortunately, thanks to the protection of figures like the head of the Spirit Hall, the sect remained safe. Even though the ferocious soul domain's experts sought to capture Xiao, he was currently devouring the Undying fire within the Undying sacred tome, leaving them with no means to act. Just when many strong individuals were shocked by the fact that Xiao possessed 3 sacred flames, a piece of grim news arrived, shaking the entire ferocious soul domain as if struck by thunder. In the Temple of the Master of Ferocious Souls, within the Northern Divine Palace. What's going on? The Northern Divine Palace was empty, except for 4 massive stone pillars. The rest of the floor was bare. At this moment, dozens of high-ranking figures had gathered, each with a minimum strength of 6-star Do Xian, and some even at 7-star level. These individuals were all major figures in the ferocious soul domain, including the head of the Earth Hall. What happened? Weren't you supposed to deal with the forces suspected of being from the soul-devouring domain? What's going on? In the Grand Hall, an elderly man with white hair narrowed his eyes and asked. The old man was familiar to all present. He was the one who guarded the Northern Divine Palace and controlled the most powerful ferocious soul guards, Old Master Bo. Old Master Bo. We've discovered the demon guards of the Light Demon under his command, operating within the ferocious soul domain's territory. They not only hid from our perception but even entered the Undying sacred tome, attempting to seize the sacred flames, one man said, his face grim. The Light Demon. Old Master Bo's hands gently stroked his white beard as he murmured, My lord, please summon the Master of Ferocious Souls so we can discuss a strategy together. Seeing Old Master Bo's hesitation, the gathered experts grew anxious and implored. All of them were loyal subordinates of the Master of Ferocious Souls. With the demon guards threatening their domain, coupled with the unknown forces of the soul-devouring domain, they were deeply worried. They understood that if something happened to the ferocious soul domain, they would be implicated as well, which only heightened their unease. The master is currently dealing with important matters and cannot appear. For now, all decisions within the temple will be made by us, the 4 temple leaders. You need not worry, old Master Bo said with a smile as he stroked his white beard. Temple Lord. The light demon is of mysterious origin, one of the powerful rulers of the extraterritorial evil clans. This individual is at the White King level, far from someone we can take lightly. Seeing that old Master Bo refused to act, the others clenched their teeth and persisted, even if it meant defying his authority. This issue had to be resolved. I've already said it. Old Master Bo's voice trembled slightly, and a burst of dazzling energy rippled outward, like the presence of a true ruler, unshakable by anyone.
Ugh.
The others could only shake their heads in resignation, their steps faltering as they began to leave the temple. Temple Lord. Something bad has happened. Suddenly, a figure in armor, as swift as a ghost, appeared from the void. His expression was tense, and his armor was drenched in a horrific, bloody stench. This man, isn't he the captain of the ferocious Soul Guards? Why does he look so disheveled? What happened? The experts present couldn't help but pause as they watched the scene. Speak, old Master Bo said, his hand slowly clenching into a fist before he asked. The light demon has led the demon guards to split into 10 groups and has begun attacking our ferocious soul domain. The ferocious soul guard spoke in a solemn voice, each word heavy with urgency. Crash! With a thunderous sound, the 4 towering stone pillars in the temple instantly shattered. A solemn aura spread from old Master Bo's body, filling the room. Summon the leaders of the other 3 temples. The remaining experts will head to the front lines to resist the light demon. Old Master Bo's voice boomed like a bell. Understood. The experts present nodded in acknowledgement, disappearing with the ferocious soul guards as they headed to the front lines. What was bound to come? Master, the choice back then was ultimately wrong. We provoked the 3 major forces of the 3 realms, and this light demon, I can't help but feel like it seems strangely familiar. After speaking, his footsteps trembled, and he immediately headed toward the hall's exit. At this moment, the declaration of war from the light demon on the ferocious soul domain had completely begun. The true battle was about to break out. While many powerful experts from the ferocious soul domain were busy dealing with the light demon's army, Xiao Yan's body fully unfurled. It was evident that the process of devouring the undying fire had taken quite some time, but now it had reached a critical point. However, due to the mysterious nature of the undying sacred tome space, even though he stayed here for a year, only a month had passed in the outside world. Despite this, Xiao Yan had spent a lot of time here, but everything was worth it. Hoo-hoo. Inside the undying sacred tome, Xiao Yan's eyes slightly closed. The fluctuating breaths from his mouth indicated that his state had reached its peak. The source point of the undying fire and some other powers had completely disappeared without a trace. Boom, boom, boom. Moments later, the vast egg-shaped space was scorched by a gray flame, which suddenly shattered into pieces. Bang, bang, bang. The giant egg space shattered instantly, and Xiao Yan's figure sat quietly, like still water. 3 flames floated above his head, slowly confronting each other. However, these 3 flames were now calm and still. In this extreme silence, the destructive power contained in these flames slightly rotated. Yellow, green, and gray. The 3 flames quietly circled above Xiao Yan's head. Whenever one flame's energy became too intense, Xiao Yan would produce a suction force to absorb it, maintaining the balance among the 3. 4 years. Seeing Xiao Yan's appearance, little Xun'er couldn't help but say playfully. For 4 years, Xiao Yan had stood quietly in the small space of the giant egg, absorbing the undying fire. Although the undying fire was stubborn, with the enhancement of the ice mystic pill and undying leaf, it was eventually devoured. Little Xun'er had witnessed the entire process, and she was deeply moved. After all, the excruciating torture was something she would not have endured if it were her. During this time, little Xun'er never left and quietly waited. To her, a few years passed like a snap of the fingers. Moreover, in the outside world, only 4 months had passed. For Xiao Yan, 4 years felt like the blink of an eye. But it was precisely this long period of time that allowed Xiao Yin to completely devour the undying fire. Finally, it's done. Xiao Yan's pupils slightly opened, and fiery fluctuations filled his body. Congratulations. Seeing this scene, little Xun'er instantly appeared before Xiao Yin and smiled sweetly. With the undying fire now under his control, Xiao Yin would soon regain his freedom. Next is the truly important step. Nodding respectfully to little Xun'er, Xiao Yin did not conceal anything. The fiery fluctuations in his pupils became even stronger. Previously, devouring the Fireheart, Heavenly Rock, and other sacred flames, along with the powers of the Flame Mantra and Sacred Flame, had greatly assisted Xiao Yin. Now, the Undying Fire was one of the top-ranked sacred flames, and after devouring it, it would surely become a great help to him. Whether it was increasing his strength or evolving the Flame Mantra, devouring sacred flames was an indispensable part. Wong. A gray sacred flame crystal appeared on Xiao Yan's palm, and a strong sense of danger burst forth from the void of the undying sacred tome. Flame Mantra. Xiao Yan's expression turned serious as he tightly gripped the gray sacred flame crystal and shouted. Soon after, a rare mist vaguely spread through his mind, and a moment later, it transformed into a golden scroll that floated above his head. Looking at this strange sight, Xiao Yin was confused. In the past, activating the flame mantra to devour sacred flames didn't have such a spectacle. This guy. Little Xun'er furrowed her brows and focused intently on Xiao Yin. The golden scroll exuded an oppressive aura as if it belonged to a true higher-up. This pressure not only suppressed her own power, but also the undying fire's power. She could sense a mysterious force within the golden scroll, one that made the undying fire shudder. The undying fire is ranked 17th among the sacred flames, yet this scroll alone can create such a huge disturbance. This guy's cultivation technique must be extraordinary, little Xun'er thought to herself. The Imperial Flame Ring? After a moment, Xiao Yin understood. Clearly, this phenomenon was due to the Imperial Flame Ring. Forget it, it should be nothing bad. Xiao carefully sensed the golden scroll in front of him and found that it was perfectly fine, entirely created by the cultivation line of the flame mantra that he had activated. Next comes the real highlight. Temporarily putting aside the mystery of the golden scroll and the Imperial Flame Ring, Xiao Yin tightly squeezed the sacred flame crystal in his palm. His gaze locked on the golden scroll as he smiled and spoke. The undying fire is ranked 17th among the sacred flames. Don't disappoint me, Xiao Yin said once more, and then the surging power within his body spread out. Swallow it for me. Evolution now? With a cold grunt, Xiao Yan's pupils turned serious, his brilliant soul power enveloping him. Without hesitation, he hurled the gray, sacred flame crystal directly at the golden scroll. This guy has gone crazy? Little Xun'er watched Xiao Yan's reckless behavior from the side, biting her silver teeth, puzzled. Boom! A deafening sound continuously rang out. When the gray sacred flame crystal touched the golden scroll, Xiao Yan's body trembled, his limbs, bones, and even countless meridians stirring with agitation. A solemn sensation flooded Xiao Yan's body, making his pupils contract sharply and his pores instinctively tighten as if facing a great enemy. Stop! If you keep this up, you'll die. Seeing Xiao Yan's reckless actions, little Xun'er couldn't help but feel a lump in her throat, her eyes moistening with tears. Though they hadn't known each other for long, she understood that Xiao Yin was no ordinary person. If he were to fall here, it would... No, don't. This is the way it must go. I can do it. Looking at the delicate and beautiful little Xun'er, her entire body glowing like a red elf, Xiao Yin forced himself to clench his teeth and spoke with difficulty. Whoosh! The gray sacred flame crystal began to stir, countless gray flames roaring out, completely filling the undying sacred tome. Xiao Yin was in the heart of the inferno, a scene that was enough to make anyone's heart race. We've come this far. I won't let you escape. Swallow it for me. Evolution now? With a cold grunt, disregarding everything else, Xiao Yan's bloodline began to boil, his soul power infusing into the crystal. The once restless gray, sacred flame crystal slowly quieted down. Then, a rare gray liquid began to slowly flow toward the golden scroll. The golden scroll, which resembled a round jade flute, contained 36 holes. As this scene unfolded, 3 of the holes slowly began to fill with liquid. Yellowish liquid, cyan liquid, and gray liquid, 3 drops about the size of a fingertip filled the holes. Xiao Yan knew that once these 3 holes were perfectly filled, his body would undergo a drastic transformation. Meanwhile, time passed second by second, and Xiao Yan's power surged dramatically. Mid-stage of 4-star Do Xian. Late stage of 4-star Do Xian. This guy. Looking at Xiao Yan quietly floating in midair, and the endless aura of authority emanating from the golden scroll, little Xun'er couldn't help but mutter. Why does this golden scroll have a trace of the Holy King's aura? And this guy can devour several sacred flames simultaneously into one. Could it be that he? After a while, little Xun'er's beautiful eyes slowly shifted, filled with doubt. The Holy King, one of the strongest figures in the Great Thousand Worlds. Though little Xun'er was the spirit of sacred flame, she was still quite young. All she knew from the undying fire was that the Holy King had somehow gained the trust and submission of 36 sacred flames. During the first heavenly battle, when the extraterritorial evil clan watched closely, the 36 sacred flames attempted to submit to the Holy King, willingly being devoured by him to form the true sacred clan, helping the Holy King ascend to the highest realms. Doshan. Unfortunately, for some unknown reason, the Holy King rejected them. However, even so, the Holy King's strength and character earned the respect of all the sacred flames. The reasons behind this were likely unknown. The Holy King rose to power because of his ability to simultaneously devour multiple sacred flames. Now, Xiao Yan seemed to carry the aura of the Holy King, which was why little Xun'er reacted this way. Hopefully, I'm overthinking it. Watching Xiao Yan's power continue to rise, little Xun'er helplessly shook her head. The Holy King was such a person. How could he possibly have too much to do with Xiao Yan? As little Xun'er calmed down, Xiao Yan's expression slowly returned to serenity. Boom, boom, boom. Several days passed in the blink of an eye. Then, one day, Xiao Yan's pupils suddenly widened, and within the void of the undying sacred tome, a series of firework-like flames exploded, completely igniting the area, transforming it into what seemed like a molten world. Finally, it's a success. Xiao Yan had just opened his eyes, and immediately, without control, clenched his fists. He could feel the abundant power within his body and couldn't help but smile. After just using the flame mantra to devour the undying fire, Xiao Yan's body, even his pupils, emitted a strange wave. It seemed that due to the undying fire, some changes were happening to his body that even he didn't fully understand. Feel the power. Xiao Yan blinked, his voice filled with joy. This is mid-stage of 5-star Do Xian? Xiao Yan slightly closed his eyes, his power flowing through his meridians. After a few breaths, he couldn't help but exclaim, "Consuming sacred flame actually enhanced my strength?" Looking at Xiao Yan's current condition, little Xun'er was also astonished. Before devouring the undying fire, Xiao Yan's strength was only at the mid-stage of 4-star Do Xian. But now, after a few years, with the undying fire completely devoured, his power had reached the mid-stage of 5-star Do Xian. This leap was truly enviable. After all, the gap between the mid-stage of 4-star Do Xian and mid-stage of 5-star Do Xian was far from small, and without a special opportunity, it would take hundreds of years to make even a slight breakthrough. Congratulations. Little Xun'er smiled. Thank you, Senior, for your help. Xiao Yan temporarily suppressed his excitement, cupping his fists in thanks. Now, with his strength at the mid-stage of 5-star Do Xian, the half-formed lovesickness flame domain could now be completely cultivated. With his mysterious Do Soul from the flame-swallowing technique, Xiao Yan now had the strength to rival a true 6-star Do Xian in the early stages. This is your Do Soul. It has successfully evolved to the heavenly grade, but for now, don't use it. Let it adapt to this new power. After a moment, a ghostly light shot towards Xiao. Naturally, within that ghostly light was the undying netherworld sparrow doe soul, but now its body had become more solid, with countless gray patterns on its body glowing brighter. It was clearly a far cry from before. Wum. Without hesitation, Xiao withdrew the doe soul. Then the gray flames began to nourish it. It wouldn't be long before this doe soul would significantly enhance his combat power. Something's wrong. This flame mantra? After a moment, Xiao expression became strange. Clearly, the flame mantra had now completely evolved to the peak of sacred class. If it progressed any further, it would enter the realm of true immortal techniques. Before, the flame mantra had reached the sacred class. Now, with the power of the undying fire, it's enough to step into the immortal techniques realm, but it feels like something is still missing. Xiao shook his head again. Moreover, Xiao had a vague feeling that the flame mantra was not as simple as it seemed. Even with his current strength, the 6 stages of the flame mantra were still elusive. He had the sense that, only by breaking through the immortal techniques threshold, would he be qualified to explore the so-called 6 stages. Since the undying fire has successfully transferred, I should leave now. Seeing Xiao state, little Zhuoma smiled. Senior, where are you going? Xiao asked. The great 1,000 worlds are vast. There is always a place for me to hide. Also, that mysterious little beast will likely achieve great things in the future. Perhaps not long from now, those people will come back again. This time, without the protection of the Holy King and other powerful experts, the great 1,000 worlds are in danger. At this point, little Zhuoma's expression became serious for the first time. The stronger the strength, the greater the responsibility. I hope that when the extraterritorial evil clan strikes, you, little one, can contribute to the great 1,000 worlds. It will not be in vain that I gave you the undying fire. Little Zhuoma shook his head again. I will obey, Senior. By the way, Senior, what is the origin of the power of the undying fire? After a while, Xiao suddenly remembered something and asked excitedly. The Sacred Flame's origin technique was exclusive to Sacred Flame. Each Sacred Flame was unique. Place your soul power into the Sacred Flame crystal. Hearing Xiao question, little Zhuoma responded. Whoosh whoosh. With a thought, the gray sacred flame crystal appeared in Xiao hand. His gaze slightly closed, and the brilliant soul power entered the crystal, probing the origin of the undying fire. Undying, indestructible, break and then rebuild? After a quarter of an hour, Xiao slowly spoke. I remember the previous owner of the undying fire once had an enemy whose strength reached 8-star Do Xian. He, a mere 7-star Do Xian, went to challenge him, and after being severely injured, he disappeared without a trace. 10 years later, he reappeared, and his strength had skyrocketed to 8-star Do Xian. No one knew what happened during those years, but I suspect that this is the origin of the undying fire. The secret behind it, you will need to discover for yourself. Little Zhuoma spoke. Break and then rebuild. 7-star Do Xian? Xiao repeated, deep in thought. Everything is finished. I must leave now. Little one, I'll be watching over you. I hope that when we meet again, you'll be worthy of your identity as one of the 4 sacred flame controllers. As the words left her mouth, the light and graceful figure flickered and vanished, and little Zhuoma disappeared from sight. Farewell, Senior. Xiao nodded gently, and then respectfully bowed to the spot where little Zhuoma had vanished. A few minutes later, the space fell completely silent, as only Xiao remained in this place. Thus, the journey of the undying fire was considered to have come to a perfect end. This time, not only had he helped evolve his battle soul, but he had also consumed the undying fire. Xiao could be considered the one who gained the most from this, though what awaited him next was an unprecedented battle. Well, since this undying sacred tome space is so mysterious, I should first resolve the issues within my domain before leaving. It'll save me quite a bit of time. After little Zhuoma's departure, Xiao originally planned to leave immediately, but since 1 year in here equaled 1 month outside, he decided to stay and completely resolve the internal matters. The origin of the undying fire is destruction followed by rebirth. Though this thing is profoundly mysterious, it is also an immense source of power. But, as it stands, it's too much of a deadweight for me right now. It will likely only shine in the future. The gray flame on his palm flickered as Xiao spoke, a mix of joy and concern in his voice. Next up, it's probably the battle between the two domains. I wonder if Master has succeeded. It seems that before I leave here, I need to adjust my power to its peak. After going out, I will also do my part for Master and the others. As soon as the words left his mouth, Xiao clenched his fist slowly. Mid-stage of 5-star Douxian, combined with all the techniques at Xiao disposal, now he had the strength to face enemies head-on. As long as he didn't encounter exceptionally abnormal 6-star Douxian powerhouses, he could hold his ground in battle. Inside me, the power of Xiao Lei's soul clone is equal to mine, making it a secret weapon. Add to that the defense from the Dragon God's third transformation, the stealth from the Fire Guard ruler, my domain, and my battle soul. But the most important thing is these few sacred flames. Right now, there's not enough time, but if I were to merge several sacred flames, their power would rival those in the top 15. Xiao felt the dazzling flames of sacred flames within him, speaking excitedly. But there was no other choice. Although Xiao had 4 sacred flames inside him, aside from Wu Yingying's sacred flame, which couldn't be used, the other 3 were still separate and hadn't fused. Merging them would take a lot of time, and Xiao was wary of the Ghost Realm's strong experts. If the ghost-faced soul flame were to merge, its power would pose a real threat to Xiao. However, once these 3 sacred flames merged, the newly born sacred flame would likely be no weaker than the top 15. First, I'll adjust my breath to its peak, then resolve the battle between the two domains and find the lovesickness flame. Yingying, wait for me, Xiao said contentedly, placing his hand over his chest, a warm sensation filling him. Lovesickness flame domain, come forth. Not long after, Xiao pupils suddenly shook. Brilliant energy surged like a tidal wave, completely surrounding Xiao. Whoosh! With Xiao voice, pink ripples of power spread out from him, extending in all directions. Mid-stage of 5-star Douxian? Xiao murmured as the pink domain expanded around him. The lovesickness flame domain, with its mysterious power of longing, had the ability to weaken enemies by 1 level and increase his own strength by a small degree, even at half-formed stages. This didn't surprise Xiao too much. Is the range of the half-formed domain only a few hundred meters? Feeling the strong sense of dominance within the domain, Xiao casually glanced around. The area within 100 meters of him was completely covered by the half-formed domain. He then spoke. Never mind. With my current strength, I should be able to fully shape the half-formed domain. I just don't know if anything unexpected will happen. As he spoke, Xiao hand exuded vast amounts of dou qi. Though the dou qi was still its normal red, the intensity had surpassed that of normal humans by several times. After being tempered by Xiao sacred flames, its power was terrifying. However, once Xiao merged the sacred flames with his dou qi, the resulting power would likely be invisible yet deadly. Whoosh! Whoosh! Brilliant dou qi continued to pour out from Xiao body, flowing into the several hundred-meter-wide, half-formed lovesickness flame domain. As Xiao did so, the pink space inside began to transform into thick pink liquid, expanding the domain from 100 meters to 1,000 meters. The space also seemed to be filled with a mysterious force. Whoosh! Several days passed in the blink of an eye. During this time, Xiao had used his power with relative ease. He also discovered that, true to its nature, a domain could only be controlled by someone at the 5-star Douxian level. The dou qi required to repair even just the semi-domain was far beyond that of a 4-star Douxian. At last, it's done. The true form of the lovesickness flame domain. Xiao stood within it, feeling like a ruler as he looked down at the void, satisfied. In its true form, the lovesickness flame domain was a pink-colored void, only about a kilometer in size. Yet within it, the air was filled with gray flames and pink liquid, giving it an aura of mystery. The danger here was palpable. Not only did the lovesickness flame domain carry Xiao Yan's undying fire aura, but it also contained the mysterious power of the pink lovesickness force, which originated from the lovesickness tree. This power was elusive and incomprehensible, even to Xiao, who only understood it partially. It's time to go. After a brief moment of sensing, Xiao noticed that, aside from the initial boost to his strength and the weakening of enemies, the domain had shown little change. However, if anyone else were drawn into it, Xiao felt confident he could destroy them without effort. Wait, what's this? Just as Xiao was about to retract the pink domain, a gray mist began to spread around him. It too was about 1,000 meters in size, but the power contained within it was suffocating. A domain? The Undying Fire domain? Just as Xiao was puzzled, the Undying Fire sacred flame crystal, hidden within his Do Chi Si, suddenly trembled. A flood of information surged into his mind. The Undying Fire domain, the domain born alongside the Undying Fire. Possessing this domain means you can truly die once. After filtering through the information, Xiao grasped the key phrase. Die once. Xiao muttered, confused. Death is when you're inside the domain. If struck by a fatal blow from anyone below the 7-star Docian level, you can rely on the Undying Fire domain's power to avoid harm or even be reborn. The information continued to flood in. So, if I'm in a life-or-death situation, I can use this domain's power to avoid a fatal strike? Xiao exclaimed in surprise. This is an incredible ability. The Undying Fire domain can now withstand a deadly blow from a 7-star Docian, and as the domain strengthens, the limit will rise even higher. However, using both domains would be too taxing. In battle, I'll probably only be able to use one at a time. But that's enough. Let's go. With a final glance over his shoulder, Xiao didn't hesitate. He exuded a sense of unmatched power as he headed toward the outside world. Meanwhile, on the outside, only 6 months had passed. Yet, during this time, the ferocious soul domain had already been engulfed in war.